Good morning and welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Let us begin the bulletin by taking a look at the headlines. Two GNU students accused of sedition charges surrender before police after High Court refuses interim protection. Court asks Delhi police to file probe report on Kanhaiya Kumar's case. Short duration discussion in Rajya Sabha on JNU Rao, BJP and allies to take aggressive approach over matter as opposition closes ranks. Haryana limping back to normal after 10 days of Jat protests. The state counts loss to property. Chief Minister says the strict action will be taken against those responsible. China blames the Philippines for tension in South China Sea. This after US claimed China has sent fighter jets to a disputed island. And India take on Bangladesh in the inaugural T20 match of the Asia Cup in Mirpur. Men in blue say tournament will help them prepare for the World T20 Championship next month. We begin with the news on JNU follow-up. Well, hours after High Court refused to grant to them interim protection, two JNU students, Umar Khalid and Anirban Bhattacharya, surrendered before the Delhi police late last night. Well, the two were wanted in connection with the raising anti-national slogans on the campus and are likely to be produced before the magistrate today. Meanwhile, the court is also likely to hear JNU-SU President Kanhaiya Kumar's bail plea today. More action in the JNU campus on Tuesday night. Two of the JNU students accused of sedition, Umar Khalid and Anirban Bhattacharya, surrendered before the Delhi police. This came hours after the Delhi High Court refused to give them any protection from arrest. The two had contended that there was a threat to their life and had asked for permission to surrender before the High Court in a safe passage from the JNU campus to the court premises. The two are likely to be produced before a magistrate today. They have been accused of organizing an event on 9th of February to mark the anniversary of the hanging of terrorist Afzal Guru, during which anti-India slogans were raised. Three other students wanted by the police, Anant Prakash Narayan, Ashutosh Kumar and Ram Naga, said they would not surrender.
एडमिन ब्लॉक से ग्रुप 4 की सुमो गाड़ी में जिसपे की येलो कलर के लेवल लगे हुए थे, उसमें उमर खालिद को और अरविंद को लेके वो आए हैं. अभी मेरे ख्याल से भी थाने के अंदर ही हैं.
Earlier, the court had also agreed to urgently hear plea which sought direction to JNU to allow Delhi police to enter its premises to arrest the 5 students. The JNU Vice-Chancellor had refused to give permission to Delhi police to enter the university campus on Monday.
इसमें कोई शक नहीं है कि वहाँ पर बहुत ही संगीन जुर्म हुआ था, क्योंकि सेडिशियस स्पीचेस और सेडिशियस नारे लगाए गए थे.
Meanwhile, Delhi High Court has also directed police to file a status report of its investigation in the sedition case of JNU-SU President Kanhaiya Kumar. The court's direction came while hearing Kanhaiya's bail plea, which was opposed by the Delhi police. His petition will be heard today.
There are enough, there are enough evidence, we have enough documents, we have enough material against this accused, and rather the whole lot, to proceed against them under the charges of sedition.
28-year-old Kanhaiya Kumar was arrested earlier this month on sedition charges. In his petition, Kanhaiya has contended that he was falsely implicated in the case as he had not raised any anti-national slogan. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Meanwhile, in related news, there'll be a short duration discussion on the JNU Rao in the Rajya Sabha today. This will be the first time that the government and the opposition will come face to face over the issue in Parliament. At a meeting of the Business Advisory Committee, it was decided to take up the issue today after demands from members of both the ruling party as well as the opposition. BJP MP Bhupender Yadav has given a notice for discussion on the JNU Rao as well as on the deposition of David Headley, in which he had said that Ishrat Jahan was a terrorist. Another BJP MP, Vijay Goyal, has given a notice as the ruling party seeks to raise the nationalist pitch during the debate. BJP is likely to take an aggressive stand on the JNU Rao.
projecting the issue as a fight between patriots and anti-nationals. Now, opposition Congress is linking the JNU controversy to the larger issue of freedom of expression and ideas, now making it clear that the opposition will not allow passage of any key bill in the first half of the session. Leader of the opposition in Rajya Sabha, Ghulam Nabi Azad, and Leader of Congress in Lok Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge, had said that the opposition will, on merit, allow the passage of only those bills on which there is a general consensus. However, the government has listed 4 bills today for consideration and passage. Meanwhile, the BJP and its allies have decided to aggressively counter the Congress and the left in Parliament over the JNU row and the Hyderabad University controversy. The decision has set the stage for a confrontation between the two sides. BJP chief Amit Shah took the lead in briefing members of the parliamentary party executive and those of the NDA about the details of the JNU case, backing the party stand. The briefing included how the NDA members should rake up incidents, including the alleged assault in JNU on army officials following the Kargil war, to buttress their arguments. Now, PTI courts sources are saying that Amit Shah gave a sequence of events on the campus and how the accused students in fact tried to present themselves as innocents by shooting another video on a different day. The Finance Minister Arun Jaitley is reported to have defended cases of sedition, and he noted that a Supreme Court judgment had in fact said that slogans calling for disintegration of India amounted to such a charge. Now, he made these remarks in the meeting of a BJP Parliamentary Party executive, which was held before the NDA meet. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also attended the meeting and told the leaders of his party and allies about the government's clear stand on the issues, resulting in it agreeing to debate them in the House as demanded by the opposition. Sources also said that NDA speakers will highlight the previous instances of Congress acting against students on the campus and how they have come together now to corner the Modi government. And a judicial commission set up by the Union HRD Ministry to probe the alleged suicide of Dalit research scholar Rohit Vemula in the University of Hyderabad began hearing on Tuesday amid a boycott call given by the Joint Action Committee for Social Justice. The one-member Justice Ashok Kumar Rupanwala panel began its proceedings at the Centre for Distance and Virtual Learning in Hyderabad. The JIC for Social Justice said that they are boycotting the hearing because they were not consulted before it, and that the panel did not pay heed to its request to reschedule their visit as the dates were clashing with the students' protest in Delhi. The HRD Ministry had issued a notification on 2nd of February appointing Rupanwal, a retired judge of the Allahabad High Court, as the one-man judicial commission to look into the suicide by Vemula. As per the mandate, the commission would inquire into the facts and circumstances leading to the death of Vemula and fix responsibility for the lapses. Meanwhile, protests were held in Delhi yesterday by JNU students, AAP's student wings and also the NSUI, demanding justice for Rohit.
रोहित था वो आज की और कल की बात कर रहा था, भारत के भविष्य की बात कर रहा था, और आरएसएस के लोगों ने उसे कहा नहीं, हम भविष्य की बात नहीं करना चाहते हैं, हम भविष्य की बात नहीं सुनना चाहते हैं, हम बीते हुए समय की बात करेंगे, और अगर तुमने भविष्य की बात की तो हम तुम्हें कुचल के मार देंगे। इतने गरीब परिवार से, दलित परिवार से, गांव से आने के बावजूद उसने कॉलेज के अंदर जिस तरह से अपना हुनर दिखाया था, ऐसे लड़के का तो देश को नाज होना चाहिए ऐसे बच्चे के ऊपर। ये पूरे देश के अंदर इतने बड़े आंदोलन के बावजूद आज भी केस रजिस्टर हुआ है, लेकिन उन दोनों मंत्रियों से एक बार पूछताछ भी नहीं की गई है।
मोदी सरकार ने जो रोहित वेमुला के साथ किया था, उनका इंस्टीट्यूशन हत्या हुआ, और उसके बाद जिस रूप में वो तमाम कैंपसेस को आरएसएस शाखा को में तब्दील करने के प्रयास कर रहे हैं, तो कोई इसको बर्दाश्त नहीं कर सकता।
Well, the budget session of Parliament started on Tuesday with President Pranab Mukherjee addressing both houses, reminding MPs that Parliament is a place for debate and discussions and not for disruption or obstruction. The President listed out the broad initiatives taken by the Union government and objectives for the coming year.
President Pranab Mukherjee on Tuesday calling for debates instead of disruptions in Parliament The budget session of Parliament will see the Modi government presenting the railway and general budgets while seeking the passage of crucial bills.
Our Parliament reflects the supreme will of the people. Democratic temper calls for debate and discussion and not disruption or obstruction.
The government has held a series of meetings with opposition parties to seek their cooperation for smooth functioning of Parliament and passage of key bills, including the revamp of Goods and Services Tax Bill. The last two sessions have been unproductive after opposition parties led by the Congress disrupted parliamentary proceedings on several issues.
My government will constantly strive for smooth and constructive conduct of the parliamentary business. I urge all members of Parliament to discharge their solemn responsibilities in a spirit of cooperation and mutual accommodation.
Outlining the foreign policy of the government, Mukherjee said India was committed to forge a mutually respectful relationship with Pakistan.
My government is committed for forging a mutually respectful relationship with Pakistan and in creating an environment of cooperation in combating cross-border terrorism. My government believes in a secure and prosperous future for our neighborhood.
The first part of the session will see the unveiling of railway and general budgets for 2016 and 17. It will last till 16th of March. The second one will resume from 25th of April and will last till 13th of May. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And earlier, amid signs of a stormy parliament session, Prime Minister Narendra Modi hoped for a productive budget session and called out for a constructive debate in Parliament. In his customary brief remarks to media on the first day of the Parliament session, Prime Minister Modi said friends from opposition parties had shown a positive attitude towards various interactions, and they highlighted how this government had risen above formalities to reach out to the opposition parties. The Prime Minister also said that the opposition should severely criticize the government and highlight its shortcomings, asserting that it will strengthen democracy. The government on Monday said that it was ready to discuss the JNU row and the Rohit Vemula suicide case beside other issues in Parliament, but urged the opposition to adopt a positive approach.
मैं आशा करता हूं कि सदन का उपयोग गहन विचार विमर्श के लिए होना चाहिए। सरकार की भी भरपूर आलोचना होनी चाहिए। सरकार की कमियां भी उजागर होनी चाहिए और वही एक मार्ग है लोकतंत्र को मजबूत बनाने का, जन सामान्य की आशा आकांक्षाओं को परिपूर्ण करने का। आज भारत की वैश्विक अर्थव्यवस्था में जो स्थिति बनी है, उसके कारण विश्व का ध्यान भी भारत के इस बजट सत्र पर है।
Well, on to some other news now. The government on Tuesday chose a former Chief Justice of India, H.L. Dattu, as the next chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission. It was first reported that the NDA government was likely to offer the post to Dattu, who retired as a CJI in December 2015. The post has been lying vacant since May 2015 after Justice K.G. Balakrishnan completed his nearly 5-year-long term. Now, a panel headed by Prime Minister Modi selected Dattu for the post. The meeting was also attended by Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan, Home Minister Rajnath Singh, Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad and Deputy Chairperson of Rajya Sabha P.J. Kurian. The committee's recommendation of Dattu for the post has been sent to President Pranab Mukherjee for his approval. On appointment, Justice Dattu will have a tenure of 5 years at the post. Meanwhile, we have some breaking news coming in. A small plane with 21 people on board has gone missing in mountains of Nepal. Officials say that they have lost contact with air traffic control, leaving the fate of all 21 people on board uncertain. Further details are awaited, of course. We'll get you all the details as they come. But right now, we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
NDA government's third budget. Will it be a path-breaking one? Will it fuel the government's development thrust? Watch the brightest minds dissect budget proposals. 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. on February 29th on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back after the break. And now an update on the Jat quota stir. Well, it was called off after 10 days road and rail blockades were lifted. But curfew remains in a few worst affected districts like Rohtak and Jhajjar. Now, Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar promised strict action against the rioters. He also came to Delhi to meet Union Minister Venkaiah Naidu, who is heading the central committee set up to look into the quota demands by Jats.
After 10 days of violence, the Jat agitation has left a massive trail of destruction in Haryana. Rohtak, the epicenter of the protests, is a war zone. Not even a single business establishment is functional. Gutted shops, school buildings and shattered vehicles line up the streets. Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar visited the town on Tuesday, but was heckled by people protesting against police inaction. The Chief Minister assured adequate compensation to those whose properties were damaged.
दुकानें जलाई हैं अथवा सामान लूटा है उनकी पहचान करके उनके खिलाफ भी कार्रवाई पूरी की जाएगी। आपको सरकार की ओर से आश्वासन देता हूं कि जिस किसी का जितना भी नुकसान हुआ है उसकी पूरी भरपाई की जाएगी, उसमें कहीं कोताही नहीं बरती जाएगी।
Stranded commuters had a slight respite after Jat protesters lifted blockade on highways. Railway tracks were also cleared and state bus services resumed after nearly 10 days. However, curfew remained in force in few districts, including Hisar, Rohtak and Bhiwani. The situation was also tense in Sonipat. The army continues to patrol the worst affected areas. Meanwhile, the Punjab and Haryana High Court has asked the Khattar government to file a status report on the Jat agitation by next Monday. 19 people were killed in the agitation, while the loss of property is estimated to run into nearly 35,000 crore rupees. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and his 77-member delegation will wrap up their 6-day visit to India today from Mumbai. The visit came after ties between the two countries were strained due to Madheshi agitation. Here is a look at his 6-day-long India tour.
In his first overseas trip after assuming office in October last year, Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, accompanied by a 77-member delegation, arrived in New Delhi last Friday, with a major focus on mending bilateral relations hit by issues relating to the Nepal's new constitution.
We are always open, ready to amend the constitution.
Ties between the two countries had soured in the wake of agitation by the Madheshi community opposing Nepal's new constitution, which they said failed to address their concerns over representation and homeland. However, for the first time in past 5 months, Nepal Oil Corporation will receive regular supplies of diesel, gasoline, kerosene, aviation fuel and cooking gas from India.
And we are thinking to have discussion with business communities of India and want to assure them that the favorable and conducive atmosphere for investment and for business in Nepal.
A total of 9 agreements were signed between India and Nepal after bilateral talks between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his counterpart KP Sharma Oli. These agreements relate to laying power lines between Muzaffarpur and Nepal, ensuring road connectivity and cooperation on connectivity between Visakhapatnam port and Nepal.
एक धनी संस्कृति और परंपरा के हम सांझे उत्तराधिकारी हैं। नेपाल में शांति, स्थिरता और उसका आर्थिक विकास हमारा साझा उद्देश्य है।
For Nepal, relations with India are important. India is our biggest trade and development partner, largest source of foreign direct investment, and the provider of vital transit facilities.
Two memorandums of understanding of $1 billion each committed to Nepal during the visits of Modi and Swaraj to the Himalayan nation were also inked during Oli's visit. Oli also made a trip to Dehradun for a hydel power project and a relocation site in Bhuj to take lessons for rehabilitation of those displaced during the 2015 earthquake.
Last year, गत साल भूकंप गया, तो हम आप लोगों ने तो उसको पुनर्निर्माण किया. हम अभी पुनर्निर्माण का सिलसिला शुरू कर रहे हैं, इसलिए हम यहाँ सीखने आए हैं कि कैसे पुनर्निर्माण प्रभावकारी ढंग से किया जाए.
For PM Oli, the most important outcome of the visit was to clear misunderstandings between India and Nepal, which arose over the last few months over Madheshi protest.
With my purpose and the purpose of visit is completely successful.
Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to the big international story now. Well, US on Tuesday said that China has sent fighter jets to a disputed island in the South China Sea. Now, recent satellite images also indicate that China might be installing a high-frequency radar system in the Spratly Islands. Now, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi is in the US on a 3-day visit to discuss the rising tensions in the South China Sea. Now, he blamed the Philippines for tensions regarding the disputed islands.
China continues to maintain its combative tone over alleged military development in the much-disputed islands of the South China Sea. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi is in the US on a 3-day visit. US said China has sent fighter jets to a disputed island. Early on Monday, a US think tank said China may be installing a high-frequency radar system on the Quatorone Reef in Spratly Islands. Recent satellite images of South China Sea have fortified their beliefs, a strategic move by China to control the islands.
我希望媒体朋友们不仅仅看到雷达，恐怕更要看到每天出没在南海的这些先进的武器装备。
As I said in our meeting, we believe that it is important for a diplomatic solution, for a solution to occur which follows the rule of law, that brings the countries to the table for negotiated resolution, not for unilateral actions.
China blamed Philippines for instigating tensions in the South China Sea. Wang Yi said Philippines has violated the stipulation of Article 4 of the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea and has given up on the dialogue and negotiations with the direct concerned parties of China. Meanwhile, the US Admiral Harry Harris said Chinese deployment of missiles and radars and its building of runways on reefs have been changing the operational landscape.
中方一直不折不扣地来履行着这个 DOC。现在恰恰是有一个国家，我不妨把它的名字说出来，菲律宾，它违反了 DOC 第4。
China claims most of the South China Sea, through which nearly $7 trillion in global trade passes every year. Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, the Philippines and Taiwan have rival claims. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, let's get you some more international stories now in World Wrap. US President Barack Obama on Tuesday launched a final push to persuade Congress to close the US military prison at Guantanamo Bay. Despite strong opposition, Obama wants to transfer the remaining 91 detainees to their home countries or to US military or civilian prisons. Closing the prison was a promise made by Obama in 2009. The Republican-led Senate has ruled out action on Obama's High Court pick after the post was left vacant after Justice Antonin Scalia's death on 13th of February. Republicans said that the Senate will not hold hearings or vote on any nominees to replace Scalia until the next president takes office in January 2017. Under US laws, the Senate has the power to confirm or reject a president's Supreme Court selection. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and rebel groups have accepted the US-Russia brokered cessation of hostilities in Syria beginning from Saturday. Meanwhile, the US Secretary of State John Kerry warned that it would be hard to hold the war-torn countries together if the fighting did not stop. Kurdish forces have rescued a 16-year-old Swedish girl from Islamic State in northern Iraq. According to officials, Marlin Nevar-Ian was misled by an IS member in Sweden to travel to Syria and then to Mosul. She is currently in the Kurdistan region and has been provided all care under international law. She will be transferred to Sweden soon. Chocolate maker Mars has landed in trouble after traces of plastics were found in it. Following the allegation, Mars Inc. ordered a recall of chocolate products in 55 countries. In the UK, the product affected include fun-size Mars and Milky Way bars and the boxes of celebrations. In the Netherlands, Mars and Snickers bars were also affected. Early in January, a customer in Germany found bits of plastic in the Snickers bar. The plastic was traced back to the Mars factory in the southern town of Wegel in the Netherlands. Now to some cricket news now. Well, the inaugural match of the Asia Cup T20 series will be held between India and Bangladesh today in Mirpur. Now, India says that it is looking forward to the series as a preparation for the World T20 to be played next month.
Virat Kohli has said that the Asia Cup would help the team know their strengths and weaknesses ahead of the World T20 Championship on home soil next month. Asia Cup, which is being played in the T20 format for the first time, will be played from today to March 6 in Bangladesh. India is confident of putting up a good show as they take on the host nation in the inaugural match today. Their recent wins over Australia and Sri Lanka have given the men in blue plenty of cause for optimism as they launch their bid for the second world crown in the sport's shortest format. Kohli, who was rested for the 3 20-over matches against Sri Lanka this month, said Asia Cup was the best platform for the team to test their abilities.
As many teams as we play before the World Cup, different teams, it gives us a great opportunity to assess what the teams are like, what the balance is like, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and where do we stand against them and how the matches have been played. So, it's a great opportunity, I guess, if we see it as a whole package before the World Cup.
India has suffered a setback as limited over skipper Mahendra Singh Dhoni suffered a muscle spasm during training on Monday. It was not confirmed if Dhoni will play against Bangladesh, but Parthiv Patel has been called as his backup. The host team Bangladesh also struggled to perform well in the T20 format, and the tournament will help them realize their potential. Bangladesh's cricket captain Mashrafe Mortaza said his team was well prepared to face the Indian team, currently ranked number 1 in the T20 format.
Well, not only T20, in every format, Indian batting order has always been challenged. Any teams. So yes, we have that challenge, and as I said before, that we have to bowl very confidently. No fear. We have to play with some sort of freedom. Then let's see what happens in the ground.
Champions in the inaugural edition of the World T20 in 2007, India blanked hosts Australia 3-0 at the start of the year before returning home to rally for a 2-1 win over Sri Lanka. Following the Asia Cup, the team will return home for the World T20, which will be played across 7 cities. India have been pooled alongside Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan and a yet-to-be-decided qualifier in Group 2 of the Super 10 stage of the March 8 to April 3 tournament. They opened their campaign against New Zealand in Nagpur on March 15. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
That's all in this edition of news, but up ahead is Parliament news in both English and Hindi. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.